Hey Flothemers, and welcome back to the following video, and we are going to look at the generic settings tab in the Flothemes settings area. So let's go ahead into the back end of WordPress, and we're going to head over to Flothemes and generics, and you'll see there are 4 different sections available to you. So the first section is social media, and in here you can choose the social media links on the site. So if you look over here, you'll see that there are the social media links, and these will link to your different social media accounts. And this is just the styling options for those, whether you want the icons or you would like the letters. 7.2, the second option is social sharing link options. And you have 4 different variations here to choose from: Google, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. And that will basically allow someone to share your post or your galleries to one of these social networks. So these are the 4 most popular and the 4 most likely that users can share to. These are not your individual accounts. They're not your Facebook, your Twitter, and your Pinterest account, etc. These are merely social sharing options so that people can actually share your content. So go ahead and choose the options, drag and drop them into order as you wish. And of course, if you want to remove any, hit the little X on that as well. The social links, these are your actual links. So again, these will be related to the different social accounts on here. And you will then, of course, be able to choose the various options that are available. And all of these have icons already. So if you wanted to update any of them, you should choose the specific network. Then, of course, add the link. So add the full URL here, otherwise it won't work. And then that will add it to any location where you have social icons available on the site. Now, if you wanted to add a new social link, you can click add social link. Of course, choose the platform that you want to use. So just choose any of these. So for example, Tumblr, copy and paste the full link in here, and that will of course add a new link to this location. You can then of course move them into any order you want as well. Just drag them and drop them, and that will be basically how you update the social media section. Of course, after making any changes, always remember to hit update. Custom code, this is basically where you can add any custom CSS if you want to make any adjustments to the site, whether that's some small changes on the front end to the styling. If you know some CSS or you have a developer, you can use the custom CSS section here and make those changes, as well as add any custom JavaScript to the site if that's required as well. Again, this is developer level sort of items here, and something that most people won't actually have to use. Generic typography, we have a section here for the generic typography. Now, when we say that, we mean the standard fonts that are used throughout the site. For example, the input field label for your contact form, so that's the label above the form. The input field font, so the font that whenever someone puts it, a text inside the font area. So if I go to the contact page, I will show you. So this is the input label, and this is the input font. So you can update the options for both of those. You'll have a paragraph font, so that would be any paragraphs on your site. It wouldn't be this one, but just on a regular page. So if I was inside a blog post, for example, let's go to a single post. And let's go into one with some text. Hopefully this one has. And this would be, of course, the paragraph text here and here. You have the link text, so if you were to add a link, you can do specific styling for that also. And as with any of the font options, just click the edit button, so that little pencil icon. That will take you to the style section where all the fonts are housed. And in the typography area, of course, then you are able to update this actual font, so you can see all the different styling options, font sizing, mobile sizing, spacing, pretty much everything you need to update that. So line heights, word and letter spacing as well. And of course you get a preview for that. Also, you can set small case with uppercase or all uppercase. You can choose the different states, whether that's hover that you want it to have a custom style, and when it's active, so when someone hovers over, or when someone is actually clicked on it as well, you can have specific styles. So I'm not going to update that for now. It's not one we need to update. But yeah, you can update the font options here. And again, H1 through H5 and H6, you can update those as well. So again, if you're using the WordPress section, the content editor, these H1 through H6 fonts will be applied. And of course the block quote font as well. So yeah, this is just generic typography, and these are used for the generic fonts on the site and in the content area with the WordPress editor. You also have a tablet font size zoom factor. So normally by default we will use the mobile sizing, but for tablets on occasions it will look a little small. So here you can of course zoom in the font sizes, so increase the size by a certain factor. So we like to keep ours at 40%. Between 40 and 60% is usually a good value to increase the font sizes by for the tablet devices, and that just increases the font size a little bit to make it easier to read. Finally, we have miscellaneous tabs, and this will be for some miscellaneous styling. So you have button settings. So again, if you want to update the buttons to have specific options, so you want custom options for your branding, you will come into this section, enable this block, and then of course choose the colors. And that will go for any of the options here. So background colors, the button text colors, the button color on hover, the button text color on hover. So of course you may want to do a light button as standard, and then on hover have a dark button, and of course you want to invert the text as well. You can have borders as well, and then of course choose the specific style for the buttons, letters and fonts. So a few different options there. You also have other settings. You can disable the fading effect on desktop. So that's this fade sort of style that you have whenever you are loading and scrolling down a page. So you'll see all the different blocks sort of scroll in here kind of nicely. See the way they have that fade animation. You can turn that off here as well. We have disabled it on tablet, on mobile. It's recommended to do so as it can affect the experience. And of course you can update the entire site background color if you enable this switch, and that will allow you to update all the blocks that don't have a background color and change the entire site. So you could set a dark site as well if you wanted to update the entire site background color, or you maybe just want to change it to a different pastel color, another color that matches your brand, possible with this option. So just enable it, choose the color as well. Finally, you have this preview button down at the bottom if you wanted to preview what the site looks like on different devices. It will load up the specific pages for you. You can check on all the devices to get an idea as to how that looks. And this last button here just refreshes the page, so if you've made any updates, you can refresh it as well. You can disable this button by just enabling this option. If it's getting in your way and you don't want to use it, just flick this button on. And as mentioned, always go ahead and update the settings. So that's the generic settings option, folks. Pretty simple and straightforward. It just gives you some additional options to update the site, add some custom code, use the generic typography, and update your social media icons.